Welcome to the Core Experience, your connection to community, business, and the people who make it all happen with your host, Brandon Suba.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Core Experience. I am Brandon Suba, a Treasury Relationship Manager at Core Bank, but today I'm going to be your host on our podcast. Super exciting because I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case you didn't, June is officially Homeownership Month. And I believe we did a podcast last year, but it was Mr. Brandon Fowler that came on there. And don't get me wrong, Brandon and I get along real well. We have the same name, so naturally we have something in common. But Brian, I think you've been in the industry a little bit longer than Brandon has, if I am correct.
Yes, I'm a veteran, senior, whatever you want to call it. But today is my 16th year at the bank.
Awesome.
Anniversary today, but this will be my 29th, or I'm in my 29th year of lending in mortgage.
So I'm sure we're going to hear some great stories, great comparisons, and even if you just give us the facts, I would believe them from you than most other people. Now, if you've listened to the podcast since the beginning that I kind of took over as host, you might know that I have a little bit of a mortgage background. I got to do mortgages at another bank for 2 years, but I'm very happy to be kind of out of the loan world and more into the business to business out there working with our clients, and that is what I really enjoy doing. But I was able to kind of navigate those loans. But again, you've been doing this long enough. Obviously, you enjoy it much more than me. So let's get you introduced, and then we will dig in here. So with us today, we have Brian Dryak. He's the Senior Vice President, Director of Residential Mortgage at Core Bank, and you were Omaha State?
Yeah,
before the merge?
Omaha State, and then the merge into Core Bank.
And then just recently, kind of took over the area.
Got an opportunity to run the entire division. I'm super excited, hopefully with my knowledge and experience. Hopefully we can make it better and better, and it's already good, but we want it to be great.
I was going to say, and with my experience working with your team, I think the go-to is, well, just ask Brian. I'm pretty sure that's what
I may not know the
told.
answer, but I'm going to find it.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. All right. Well, hey, Brian, tell us a little bit more history. How'd you get into mortgages? What kind of drove you this way? And then we'll dig into some mortgage fun facts.
All right. Well, right out of college, I started selling insurance for a couple of years, mainly to my buddies, college buddies, life insurance. 22, 23 years old. Nobody's going to die. So nobody needs life insurance. But so it was a tough go. Did it for a couple of years, truly believe in it, and just wasn't real successful. And I got into a situation where I was asked, hey, how about instead of asking people for money, how about you give people money? Oh, okay. So I got into lending, and ever since, that's all I've done is mortgage lending for the last 28, 29 years. So that's kind of my history. Was at a couple different places, but my gist of my career has mainly been at Omaha State Bank, Core Bank.
So we're into June, which is Homeownership Month. What does that mean, right? We recognize, gosh, there was even a life insurance month, I think it was a couple months ago. But what does that mean? What do we recognize during this time?
Well, I think the government's really trying to focus on, hey, folks, it's very important, or we'd like to get as many people into the American dream of owning a house. And so they've come up with this Homeowners Association Month, just kind of no different than maybe the 4th of July or different dates that they put out there to drive people to really maybe engage and learn more about being a homeowner if they don't have a home, or just goes into light about being a homeowner and the benefits. I know a lot of people, prefer to own a house versus rent. There's some positives to rent. Obviously, there's some negatives to home ownership. But at the end of the day, I think the emotional wellness and it provides some stability to kids, and just knowing we have a home to go to. We can run in our backyards. We can paint our room a certain color, things like that. So obviously being in the lending side, we think it's very important to own a house.
Of course. It was funny. So my wife has always been the driver for the homes. Our first home we bought during the 2008. So we had the $8,000 tax credit, and that was a big motivator for us. And then we had our starter home for a little bit, and then we were able to move into a little bigger home as we grew our family. But coming from the lending side, it really blew my mind, the passion people had to get a home. Yeah. Right. I would come up with, shoot, we've hit this roadblock. And I hate to say it, in the back of my mind, I thought the deal was lost. But they will say, well, what do we got to do? Where do I get this document? Mm-hmm. So it really is cool to see that passion. And then, like you said, the wellness of people. To have a home is the American dream. Yeah. And I think he gives them that safety and that reassurance. This is ours.
Yeah.
This is ours.
Yeah. And obviously the building of equity, having an asset. Obviously in this area we're in of the United States, we don't see these large appreciations or large depreciations, but we just see a constant, you're always getting a nice return on your investment with a home. But you're right about people will do a lot to close and get in. It's like, I don't have any money, or I can't. And next thing you know, they found a way. Grandma, grandpa, brother, sister. I know when I bought my first house, my wife and I bought our first house in 1998. After you walk through it and you're like, this is it, we can envision this, and our kids are in the backyard and so forth, I truly probably would have paid 15% interest rate because I didn't care. I wanted that damn house and I was going to do whatever. And the numbers could have changed at closing, or there could have been a crack in the foundation or whatever. But when you're in, and you just, it's different than maybe just buying a car or a new set of golf clubs. It's I don't know. It's really cool.
It is. Cool. So let's dig into first-time home ownership, huh? What do they got going for those? We had NIFA. We still have NIFA. I shouldn't say we had it. We had NIFA, some motivation to be that first-time home buyer, but challenges with rates and just, actually, not even the rates. Honestly, I think we've settled and everybody's accepted it. Sometimes it's more inventory than anything else, I feel.
Yeah, we're seeing that, and we've got numerous hundreds, it seems, pre-approval letters out there. So folks are looking, they just can't find a home, or they're getting bid out. The inventory is so low right now. But yeah, there's a lot of programs for homeowners. Obviously, with NIFA, the Nebraska Investment Finance Authority program. There's FHA, there's VA, there's USDA. I mean, there's almost a program or a product for nearly everyone. The beauty at Core Bank is we do have all access to all those. And if we don't, we're working on it. And secondly, if we can't help somebody, we'll be honest and tell them and try and find them a way, whether it's helping them with their credit to improve their credit, or say, hey, we need to pay a couple things off, or we need to pay down your debt, or let's give it 6 months or a year. We just don't take an app, call them, say, hey, sorry, you don't qualify. We're very good. We're very passionate about, at the end of the day, it may be a year, it may be 2 years, but we've helped a lot of folks get into a home, and it's taken time, but and it's turned into a lot of referrals, and I think that speaks a lot for Core Bank. So,
a lot of the times when I meet people out there and I'm associated with Core Bank, it's usually someone on the mortgage team that they reference, because you've got some long timers on your team too.
Yeah, we've got some really experienced lenders. We've got four lenders in our Omaha headquarters branch. We've got 4 at our Granite Falls branch in Papillion. And then we have a new lender, Matt Hess, who's in our Kansas City office. So we're looking at expanding down in the Kansas City market. But we also, doesn't really matter. We do lending in all 50 states. We just closed a couple loans in Nashville to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin. I know I haven't, but I know we've closed a loan in Hawaii. So
nice.
We need to go check on that house, I guess. But no,
I'll go with you.
Yeah. So,
well, I know with the healthcare banking that actually brought me over to Core, that was one cool thing, is for the doctors, if they were looking at a home that was outside of Nebraska, right? They work here at the CHI center. Well, that's the CHI, the hospital, not the entertainment center. But they would want that second home and it would be somewhere else. And how nice is it that you can continue to use the same lender that you worked with here locally to work to get that home out of that different state too?
Yeah, I hate using the word one-stop shop, but that's really what Core Bank has done with our banking and our healthcare and our investments and our trust and our mortgage. And it's like, seriously, make one phone call and it can all be taken care of at Core Bank. Or if not, I mean, we're going to be honest about it. We're going to tell them, you know, do this, or here's a referral. It's just we have such a wealth of knowledge in different divisions that I think sets us apart.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brian, let's talk about rates.
Hey.
It's been a roller coaster, I'm going to say, for roughly 4 years now, right? The pandemic kicked everything into this crazy low, and then we built back up. And I want to be very clear. I am a firm believer that the rates that we were down to, it's not sustainable. I mean, I want to keep mine as long as I can, right? But the reality is, you're talking about 15% on your first home. I mean, double-digit rates were not crazy for a very long time. So what's your take on the current rate environment?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think the biggest challenge was it went so fast.
Yeah.
You know, it went from the 2s and 3s all the way to the 7s. And that was the shocker. And now I think people are just like, okay, this is more the norm. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not the norm. But even if it is, I think the general public has started to accept it. But it just went so fast overnight. Like, people put in a contract and they were pre-approved and rates were in the 4s. And by the time closing in 60 days, they were in the high 5s or 6s, and that really moves the needle on their monthly payment. And but again, we saw a lot of sacrifices. Mm-hmm. Like, even consumers would tell us, like, we're just not going to go out to eat as much or go to the movies because we want this house. And so we all have to make sacrifices, whether we want to or not. But we did see a lot of that where they're like, well, I'm going to pay off this car and get a smaller car payment so I can make sure this house payment is within our budget and so forth. So, but yeah, rate wise, it is what it is. Hopefully, rates go down some point and folks can refinance and take advantage of that. Just like during COVID, we had customers refinancing 3-4 times in a single year because it made sense. Rates went from 5s to 4s to 3s to 2s. So it can really move the needle on monthly payment.
Yeah. What are other resources or maybe some benefits that we have at Core Bank, our mortgage team?
I'd say our biggest thing we try and focus on, maybe there's 3 things, but our biggest thing is we're so receptive answering our phones. It doesn't matter if it's on a Sunday at 6 o'clock and somebody needs an updated pre-approval letter, we're going to get it to them. Yep. It's from answering a text to a simple online app or need help finishing this or that. Our staff to our lenders, our processors, our underwriters. I mean, our turn time is super right now. And it always has been. Obviously, during the refi boom, it was phone here, trying to lock, trying to close. So it was crazy, but our staff, we feel we have a perfect number of underwriters and processors and lenders, and we're focused on the turn time is so much better than a lot of your big box lenders. Yep. We also have we're running a 21-day guarantee close. So what that means is if we receive a contract and we're able to get everything from our borrower right away, get the appraisal ordered right away, we guarantee that will close within 21 days. If it doesn't, then we're going to cut a check for $500.
Nice.
Knock on wood, we haven't had to do that because we're very efficient, and it's not just a ploy. It's, hey, we're good at this. So let's shine. Let's show people. So
it coming from a I don't know, big bank, I guess you could call it, and just seeing the team on the more community bank side. And then I guess my big thing is my underwriters used to be a Teams message away, right? Now I see with you guys, my underwriter is 10 steps away. Yeah. And I just think there's more opportunity of collaboration when you got 2 humans in a room talking versus over even talking on the phone. It's just not the same. Mm-hmm. And I think you can get done so much more done so much quicker. And that's why when I saw that, we have the 21-day guarantee, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because everybody's all hands on deck ready to go when that contract comes in. And I know a lot of the support side, well, just as, the events we do at Core, and they're just fun people too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's super handy just to yell out your office, hey, Gina, I need this. Or, I mean, it can get, we got to be respectful, but at the same time, it's versus calling my processor in Minneapolis or like some banks have to do is it's great to be able to go over, sit down with your underwriter and walk through something or iron out a difference we may have. Hey, I got a pay stub. Can you scan this in for me real quick? I'll walk, it's just, we just have this teamwork and being hands-on, like you said.
And I got to do a shout out. Doesn't every mortgage team need a Gina? I mean, she is awesome. Because coming in on the healthcare side, I just need access to a couple things, so I wasn't bugging the lenders for very simplistic things. She got me in the system right away. She gave me a quick little tutorial, and we were off and running. But she is phenomenal for the team.
Yes,
phenomenal.
We're very lucky.
Well, Brian, you've got a lot of experience in this. Thank you for sharing all your knowledge. Any final thoughts as we kind of close it out today?
No, I think we're just excited that, we're starting to see some pickup with the consumers are just like, hey, we want to still own a home. We're not happy with rates. Obviously we have no control over that. Right. But there's always that opportunity that, I hate using that term. You're marrying the house, you're dating the interest rate, but it's true. You're probably not going to keep your house for 30 years. You're probably not going to keep that same mortgage. So, but at the same time, I don't see prices dropping.
Right.
A house today at $350, you can wait till rates drop, and next year now it's $375. Yep. You may wait around and get a better rate, but then you're going to pay more for the house. So did you really gain anything there? So I think the general consensus we're seeing in the public is they understand this is where the market is. If they want to own a house, they're going to have to jump on it. So
for all you listeners out there that have the friends that are just waiting for the rates to go down or they're holding off for whatever reason, if they have that passion to start looking at houses, get out there. They need more room. Maybe their family grew. Maybe they're even downsizing. Again, and they say it in the insurance too, it's never going to be less expensive than today, right? Yeah. And so you've heard what Brian has for his team and what they have to provide at Core. Share this podcast with them, and hopefully they'll take an opportunity to get pre-approval and maybe start looking for that house. As we are in the summertime, it's home ownership month. Now's the time to take that dive. Well, Brian, thank you so much for all your insight today.
Thanks,
Love having you on the podcast. And for more information on the Core Experience podcast, you can go to corebank.com/podcast, or you can always email us at coreexperience@corebank.com with any topics in the banking world that you might want to know a little bit more about. Love to hear your ideas. Get a specialty person just like we have Brian on the show and share that information with you. So for everybody else, we'll talk to you on a future podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Core Experience, your connection to community, business, and the people who make it all happen. For more details, go to corebank.com/podcast or email coreexperience@corebank.com. Brought to you by Core Bank, member FDIC.
Equal housing lender. A guarantee is not a loan-approved guarantee. This guarantee will be void in all areas declared natural disasters. Although you may not qualify for the 21-day guarantee, we encourage you to apply, and your application will go through our priority standard process to determine the product that best fits your needs. All loans are subject to credit approval.